George Russo.
Hello, mate.
Really.
Russo.
Russo. Sorry.
Russo.
I'm fucking
My dad always tells me, like, I've got to, you know,
Russo.
don't let anyone call you Russo. Because they do. I'm from Hoxton, I'm from the East End, and they're all Russo this. Yeah. And he says, no, you got to tell him it's Russo.
Where's that come from?
It's Italian, actually. There's a tiny bit in there somewhere. Well, my great-grandfather was Italian, Giuseppe, I remember him, actually.
Right.
And, yeah, but he's from Naples. So there's a little bit of Italian there, and I've hung on to that heritage. I, you know, sort of called myself Italian over the years, and really, I'm not really.
Bond by Blood 2.
Yeah.
Brilliant performance.
Thank you.
Really was. Absolutely fucking loved it. I was really excited about the film after seeing it. I've watched it a few times now.
Yeah.
How did you get the part?
Well, I'd worked with John before, Jonathan Softcut. We did a movie together, Top Dog with Leo Gregory, and he just got in touch with me through my agent and sent me the script, and I went and auditioned for it like I would any other part, really. Yeah.
Yeah, because you done Turnout a few years back, but you know, I really expected you to move on to bigger things after that, and it never really happened.
Well, the problem was with Turnout is that it didn't really get seen. You know, I think that it will always live on as a cult classic, Turnout, because it's a really well-made, well-acted film. You know, I'm not just talking about my performance, by the way. I don't think I'm particularly.
No.
I think I'm in and out in it, but there's some really good performances in it. It's it's kitchen sink drama, which is up my street, which is what we wanted to do, and a slice of life. Yeah, it certainly does. Yeah, and it's a slice of life movie, and it'll live on. It's got a real following. You know what I mean? People that have lived that sort of lifestyle, or know people that have lived that lifestyle, really identify with it. And it was that was really important that we made that type of film that captured, you know, those people that I'd grown up with. Really, I spent a lot of my youth running about with those sort of people, you know what I mean, and wasted a lot of time. So Turnout, in a way, was a homage to that, and it validated all that time that I'd spent, pissed away, just sitting at my mate's house, just, you know, hanging out, getting up to no good, really. And but it was a shame, because we had a lot of distribution offers on the table once after we'd made the film and we started to show it around. We had like 5 or 6 distribution offers, some really good ones, and we went with Metrodome, which were the biggest at the time, and unfortunately they're not around anymore. But I think, you get lost. We were just a tiny fish in a small, in a big pond. And we just got lost, really, in their machine, and no one really saw the movie. But it's still out there. Turnout, great film. Really proud of it, and it's my first lead, and the first thing that I'd ever really written. And we wrote it like 10, 15 years ago as well. And if it would have come out when it did, it would have probably been the first film like it. In the first.
Ricky Hartness in there.
Ricky Hartness in it, yeah. Tony Denham's in it, yeah. In the first version of it, the character was sitting watching Kilroy. That's how far we go back. The talk show Kilroy, and then it was Trisha, and then it was Jeremy Kyle. So, but we didn't have the people, we didn't have the platform, we didn't get it to anyone. No one had read it. Story of his life, really. No one saw it. No one read the early script.
That's the trouble with British movies, though, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because the whole distribution system is broken.
Yeah.
The BFI is broken. They don't, in my opinion, service any working class people.
And it was mismarketed. It was marketed as a sort of a British gangster film. They wanted to put a gun on the cover at one point. There's no guns in it. And if you see the opening credits, they're all in these pastel colours. And the film, there's loads of pastel colours throughout the film. It's it's not heavy. It's quite light. There's a lot of humour and levity, and and it was marketed as this sort of like gangster movie, and it's not. It's a love story about a young kid that meets the right girl too young, puts his friends before his girlfriend.
He's just trying to make a bit of easy money on the side.
He's just silly, he's just stupid and immature and just, too young. And that's what it's about, slice of life. That's what I'm into, that's my kind of scene. I love drama, I'm a drama guy.
So tell us about your character in Bond by Blood 2.
Well, he's a guy called Damon Alvin. Obviously I never got to meet the guy. I think he's in the witness protection program. I would have loved to have met him, just to get an idea of his character, because that helps me to play the part, but I couldn't, so it left me a lot of free reign really. There was not even a photo of the guy. So, and there was a few paragraphs about him, about his actual character, not the things he'd done, like in Bernard's book. And that was all I could really find out about him. So I had a lot of freedom really. And Greg Hall, you know, Greg the director, he gave us a lot of freedom to explore the character and to bring stuff to it. You know, he wanted us to sort of do like a lot of background stuff. And we did like workshops and rehearsals, and so from that, you know, I created this guy really, this guy Damon Alvin, who, you know, he's a troubled dude. He's a troubled dude. He's got a lot of issues, you know, and obviously he's very violent guy, and you know, bitter, and pretty unhappy dude.
He's so great at lying.
Yeah. I think you've got to be when you're in that environment, when you're swimming with sharks, man. You've got to be on your toes, and you've got to be a good liar as well. You know, you've got to remember your lies, and it's survival of the fittest in that world. You know, you show any weakness, like Dean's character, he's a weak character, and he just gets chewed up. You know, he gets caught up in the machine.
So working with the likes of Josh Myers, Sam Strike, Mike Delaney, Sam Strike, sorry. How was that?
Yeah, great. I mean, me and Sam, I mean, it was funny really, because, you know, I'd sort of antagonised Sam throughout the whole film, and I wanted to sort of set that tone straight away. So he, as you know, Sam as a person, I didn't want to really, I wanted to carry that, you know, off of the screen as well. So I really kept Sam at arm's length whilst we were filming, and I would also do some stuff to him which wasn't very nice really, you know, but just to keep that realism between us, you know, off the screen, so that would translate when we were working together, you know, just to bring that element of realism to it. So obviously once we'd finished shooting, you know, Sam knew what I was doing obviously, and we hugged, and I love him, you know, he's such a great actor. I mean, he's brilliant in that film. He's I mean,
really he's the victim, isn't he?
He's the victim, you know, he's the victim, but and he's, you know, he's trying to sort of find his place with these guys that have just not got any, you know, interest in him really as a person. They're just out for themselves, you know. But he played it really delicately and beautifully, you know. And so it was horrible to have to be quite nasty to him throughout the shoot. But I think that stuff sort of does translate, even if a little bit. I mean, it helped him. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was like, no, that was the right way to go about it, you know.
No, it really works.
Yeah.
It really works.
Yeah.
There's also like lots of humour, little bits of humour in the film. And,
yeah.
Was any of that ad lib, or was it all?
Well. Thanks to sort of like, you know, Jonathan Softcott done a great job of bringing Greg on board, and Simon Cluett, you know, said from the off, you know, you've got freedom to play with the script. He wasn't precious at all about the script, so we had freedom to improvise and have loads of fun. And Greg was such a you know, an important part of that, because he gave us he made me feel comfortable enough that I could really play about. You know, you get certain directors, they want you just to learn your lines, hit your marks, they would tell you how to play it, they want it done in a certain way, you know, and they've got their vision. And Greg had his vision, but he also gave the actors freedom to play and experiment. And we had that platform. And even though we didn't really have the time, we did improvise a lot. And that's where the magic happens. The magic happens, you know, when you're in the moment, you know, you're present, and you're that conduit for something else. And I think there's little moments of that in the film where you know, there's stuff just happening for the first time, and it can only happen once for the first time. And I think we captured some of that.
When you're all sitting around in the pub discussing how you're going to go after Trent,
yeah,
and you know, it almost looks a little bit like The Last Supper.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I can't remember the actor's name, but what the guy that says about hand grenade.
Yeah.
We could get an hand grenade. Fucking hand grenade? Where are you going to get a fucking hand grenade from? He's just like, I know people. You know what I mean? I mean, and you really go into it.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
Well, you know, the working class, you know, we're brought up with humour and sarcasm, and you know, I think it was important for Damon to be a funny guy. It's easy to play the villain as just this one tone sort of, you know, cliche bad guy. But when you think of the best sort of the bad guys throughout sort of film history. I mean, I think that like Joe Pesci in Goodfellas and in Casino, he's one of the most frightening characters, you know, ever to be depicted on screen, and he's one of the funniest and some of the most violent, dangerous, psychotic maniacs that I've met, and I've met a couple. They're the funniest people I know. You know, they've got a humour and they make you laugh, but they can sort of spin on that axis and turn on you, you know, like, you know, in a split second. So I think it was important to get that humour across and to not have these people just one-dimensional, because who's one-dimensional? They're not. You know, you got these people that could, you know, hurt you physically in one breath and then go home and sit with their families and play with their kids in the next minute. You know, and that's the reality of it.
Well, I mean, you certainly pulled it all off anyway.
Yeah,
so, I mean, all the acting and Greg, you know, really pleased for it.
Yeah.
Really
well, that is, well, that was the platform that we had. It was lucky, really.
I'm really pleased to be pushing the movie, because like when you generally do love it.
Oh, great! I appreciate that. It's brilliant.
So you got some more films coming out this year as well, haven't you?
Yeah, there's a couple of little bits and pieces coming out.
You're in My Name Is Lenny.
Yeah.
Playing Frank Warren.
Yeah, playing Frank Warren. It's funny, really, because that's my cousin's movie, Jamie McLean, Lenny's son, and it's written by my other cousin, Martin Askew, and purely through nepotism, they were obliged to give me a part in their film. Otherwise, they would have never heard the end of it, basically. No, but yeah, it was great doing that, brilliant doing that. And Ron Scapello, he's a great director, really hands-on director, passionate guy, running about with a camera himself, and a really great immersive experience doing that.
He's done a film called Pressure, didn't he? Done a film called Pressure.
Did he? I've not seen it. I've not seen it,
but we have reviewed it, and it was a good film.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to go on and do great things. He's a really talented director. Yeah, and a really good man as well. Really good guy.
I was lucky enough to go on the set of My Name Is Lenny, and it really does look good.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, my cousin Jamie's like first-time producer, and he's done a really brilliant job. He really I've said before, he was like a real patriarchal figure on the set. You know what I mean? Everyone looked up to him, and he made everyone feel really comfortable, and you just felt safe with him. Do you know what I mean? Like any problems anyone had, they were going to him, and he was sorting out all the problems. So I think he's definitely got a future as a producer, actually, and I think the film's going to be well received. Yeah.
And it's emotional for him as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, of course. There's so much sort of personal attachment. So it's difficult for him, I think, really, because, you know, he's obviously got to let other, you know, the stories in the hands of other people, really. Yeah. So there's times where he has to really step back and see, you know, revisit some, like, quite haunting stuff. You know, my cousin Martin Askew, who I mentioned, wrote the film. He also plays Lenny's abusive stepdad, Jim Irwin, and you know, and Martin's real quite a methody actor, and he goes there. You know what I mean? And I think that must have been uncomfortable for everyone, involved, and everyone who's got like the emotional.
He's funny. We interviewed him.
He's hilarious, brilliant, really talented guy.
You've got London Heist coming up as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what the release date is yet, because it's been held up.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing that, actually. I think people might be quite surprised that it's really quite big, felt like a pretty big production and solid production.
Can you tell us about your part in that?
Well, I play DCI Mason, and I'm the partner to Nick Moran. And I don't want to give too much of the plot away, but me and Nick have got some really nice scenes, and that's me, and it was great just acting alongside Nick Moran for the first time, meeting him, and we've gone on to do a couple of other. He was in My Name Is Lenny, and we're working on some stuff at the moment as well. He's directing a play written by Irving Welsh and Dean Kavanagh that we're debuting at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in the summer, along with Perry Benson. Me and Perry play these two gangsters that are auditioning for the 1970 film Performance with Mick Jagger. So it's about, there was real gangsters used in that film, and it's about these two guys that are auditioning for that movie, and it's brilliant. It's funny play. Yeah.
Could that become a film?
It's like a one-act it's a one-act play, hour long, sort of set in a room. It probably couldn't actually, but I suppose with a few rewrites, you can write a film about anything. I'm sure they could adapt it if they really wanted to, but it probably won't. It'll probably stay a play.
I do like Perry Benson.
He's fantastic, and just I feel lucky just to be in his presence and learning so. And we all come from the Anna Scher Theatre, so that's where we all started out in Islington, and he's an old student from the Anna Scher Theatre, where loads of great actors come from.
Yeah, I've not met him, but he's certainly one that I would like to meet.
Yeah, he's great, mate. He's great. He's a great guy.
He's good in little. Have you seen the whole Mum and Dad?
Oh no, I know about that. I remember when it came out. It got you knew it existed. It got really pushed. So I know there must be something about it. I've been meaning to watch it.
The microwave scheme.
Right.
And also Love on an Obey.
Yeah, he's great in that.
When he gets stabbed,
brilliant.
That is so funny.
Yeah, it's
I just love that fucking humour.
Yeah.
He's so fucking stabbed me, go on in, and then he stabs him.
That's right.
Fucking hell, he stabbed me. And then they just pick him up, bump outside the pub, go back in drinking again.
Oh, it's hurting now. It's really hurting now. Yeah, no, he's brilliant, Perry, man. And he's been about for years. I mean, he was in Scum. You know what I mean? So he's proper. He's.
But we've got some real talent, and I think sometimes the media and they just take the piss out of us, really.
Yeah.
Instead of pushing and being proud of what we do, it's got to be someone highbrow. Do you know what I mean? They've got to play Shakespeare to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Or something,
And I think it's up to us to really, then they're not going to let the working class in that easily. You know what I mean? If we're to be taken serious, we need to start making some really intelligent films made by the working class for the working class, and we need to find that sort of market, you know what I mean? To the point where we can't be denied because the films are of such good quality, and I think we don't do ourselves any favours because there's so much crap being made, and a lot of us get pigeonholed, put in the same bracket. Turnout, that was the thing that happened with Turnout. We were sort of put in that same sort of bracket and not taken as serious as it should have been, really. And and it's partly down to us, but also you're right as well. It's hard to sort of be accepted by the.
It's so hard getting the funding.
Yeah.
And then when you make the film, it's so hard to get the distribution.
See, that's what I mean. That you can get funding if you want to make a piece of crap that they know that's gonna sell. That's got no sort of soul. But I think that's why Bonded by Blood is going to be so well received, because it could have so easily been, Bonded by Blood 2 could have so easily been one of those sort of like same old, seen it all before movies.
Let's milk it.
Yeah, but that bringing Greg on board was a master stroke, because he's added a real layer and he's brought levels to it and a real artistic spin on it, which is going to set it apart from those sort of movies. And that's what we need. We need people that are going to be really creative and do different stuff and experiment and make intelligent, raw movies with brilliant acting and well-written movies. I mean, it all starts with a script. You've got to have a brilliant script, and that's what I'm into. That's what I'm into.
Too many films do fall down on that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who said it or where it comes from, but you hear it a lot. You can make a shit script good, you can make a good script brilliant, and you can make a brilliant script. You can always improve on it. But if you've not got something good to start with in the beginning, you're in trouble. And for me, the script is a work of art. That document must be a solid work of art. And that's where I'm coming from anyway.
And you do a lot of that?
Oh, I write all the time.
Did you get any formal training with writing?
No, I learned from Lee Sales, really, who wrote Turnout with me. He was a director, friend. We wrote we've written a lot of stuff together. I've written consistently over the last sort of like 10, 15 years.
Have you got a certain style when you write? I mean, do you do it early in the morning, late at night, drink, drugs? I mean...
No, not really. It's constantly evolving. There's no set... I'm not getting paid to write at the moment, so on it I can't really pick and choose where I write or or when I write, it just you know, it has to work around, you know, my life, so to speak. So it's not easy. Do you know what I mean? But and I'm learning all the time. I'm still, you know, learning loads and developing my style. I think the day you stop learning, you're in trouble, isn't you?
And how you see in the future? You know, you obviously your part as in One of My Blood 2 as Damon Alvin has been well received. Are you hoping that's going to open up more doors for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always very sort of pragmatic about things. I think that what will be, you know, and if it leads to more work, great. If not, you know, I'm not sitting about waiting for people to give me jobs. I'm trying to generate my own work. I'm into writing stuff. I'm trying to get my own projects off the ground. You know, as Greg, you know, might have told you, we're starting a production company, Medium Called Films. We've got about at least six projects. Well, we've got 6 on the slate, but there's more. You know, we've got loads of stuff, you know, loads of ideas, stuff I'm developing with Lee Sales as well, who's involved in the Medium Call umbrella, you know, and yeah, it's a really exciting time. So we're not sitting about waiting for people to give us work. We're generating our own work, and it is of quality, and we won't be denied. We won't be denied, yeah.
I mean, it's really exciting, and like, you know, do keep us involved.
Yeah, well, definitely, John.
Because that's what we're all about.
100%.
Just last couple of things. Favourite British gangster film?
Favourite British gangster movie? Gangster movie. I mean, I like Sexy Beast. The Long Good Friday, obviously, is a classic. The Business is a great movie. My favourite British film is Nil by Mouth, hands down. It's an amazing piece of work. Yeah, you got me there. I don't know.
Sexy Beast is a good
I
film.
don't think there's many really good British gangster movies, to be honest. I think the best are yet to come. And you know, I've written one recently. I'm not saying that's going to be the best one, but I think, you know, the thing that these gangster films lack is realism. You know, they focus on this glitz and the glamour, and I think half of the people that write these movies have never even come across a gangster. You know what I mean? They're like some fantasy, some sort of male fantasy of what they think this lifestyle or these people do or what it is. And you know what I mean? I'm not saying that I hang out with gangsters, but I've met some serious people in my time, and just, you know, to show that, you know, they are real. They're just human beings. They're just human beings that get on with their lives, but they've got this extraordinary, you know, sort of esoteric sort of lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? Where they can, you know, not like the rest of us. Not like the rest of us. Yeah. And I think that's what it needs. Realism. I'm into, you know, it's got to be believable. It's got to be real. And yeah.
And is there any actor that you'd really like to work with?
I'm probably going to crucify his name, but Matthias Schoenaerts, would love to work with him. I would love to work with Harmony Korine. I would love to work with Ben Mendelsohn. But you know, I'm wrapped around a group of British actors who I think are some of the best at the moment. You know what I mean? Neil Maskell, Peter Ferdinando, Sam Strike, I think is a fantastic actor. Kingsley Ben, Adair, Charlie Palmer, Rothwell. You know, all these great actors. Did I mention Sam Strike?
You did,
yeah. You know, we're surrounded. There's probably a million I've forgotten, but you know, they're all around us. I think we've got some great talent. You know, Lorraine Stanley, Katie Jarvis. You know, there's brilliant talent among us. You know, Perry Benson. You know, you know, I'm blessed to have them be in their presence. So.
Well, I really hope things turn out. No,
we all love a good turnout.
A good turnout. Yeah. You know what I mean? But exciting times.
Yeah, nice one, John.
Nice one.
Cheers,
Thanks,
mate. Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers.